Hey, Brent, I hope all is well. It's Levi here, and it was great to see you in Cabo. You mentioned sending you a brief video about the results and my story. And so I just wanted to share with that. And if you can you remember back in January 2021 when we first met? I'd started this YouTube channel. It was only 1 month old. I hadn't generated any business. I didn't sell a home in 2020. I didn't even sell a home in the first quarter of 2021. So keep that in mind with everything I want to share with you. But here's the results. Speaking with Jay Kinder, he said he's never heard anybody having this type of success, in their first year of real estate. So I also want to share, I did this with my partner, Travis Plum. And so he's been a big part of this as well. And so this is what happened over 2021, brand new YouTube channel, all organic, no ad spend. We generated 621,700 views, 66,000 watch hours, 7.8 thousand subscribers, even generated 4,000 in ad revenue, but that wasn't the goal. The only goal was to make the phone ring, period. We actually have over 11,700 subscribers on the YouTube channel now. It's only 15 months old. But what did this mean in business? We closed in our first year, and actually the first 9 months, because we didn't even sell a home in the first quarter of 2021. So the last 9 months of 2021, we closed 64 transactions, 33.5 million in volume, a million in GCI in our first year, zero ad spend, no marketing budget. 2022, we even rolled over 18 transactions, 9.8 million in volume and 295,000 in commissions. So imagine being a second-year agent, being able to start the year off with 18 transactions. But it's actually completely compounded since then, because you see, we had no momentum because we just started the channel, at the beginning of the end of 2020, beginning of 2021. But look what happened now in the first quarter of 2022, Brent. We closed already 50 transactions, 25.8 million in volume, 775,000 in GCI, 40 transactions pending for 21.8 million and 655,000 in GCI. That's over 1.4 million in GCI in the first quarter of 2022. And we've already generated 617 leads in the first 90 days. So we average almost 7 leads per day for free from our YouTube channel. And what does this mean for agent attraction? Well, here's the other side of it. We've been able to leverage this into helping other agents build their channels as well. And because of that, it's allowed us to actually agent attract very effectively. We're only in this 15 months. Think about that. We already have 40 FLAs with 18 FLQAs. We actually have plenty to open up tier 5 and possibly tier 6. They just haven't registered, but we know they've already sold real estate. Over 304 in the revenue share group. And our last check was 13,800 in the first 15 months. So that's, I don't know, I think that's pretty significant maybe, but we're happy for the path we're heading down. And we feel like we've really cracked the code. And this is something that we've just done with an iPhone, and again, zero marketing. So this is something that any agent, any established agent, and especially any brand new agent can implement in their business. But you also asked about my personal story, so I just want to share that with you real quick. But I grew up in a small town called Stephenville, Texas. It's 2 hours south of Dallas, and if you're not milking cows or riding bulls, then there's not really much else to do there. You can see here I worked the weekends at the flea market, trying to start my own business at the time. But, the thing is that my parents didn't go to college. My 2 older brothers didn't go to college. And my parents actually told me my whole life, you're not going to go to college because we can't afford it. Because they didn't go, they didn't know about student aid or college loans or scholarships or any of that. So they weren't able to assist me in none of that. And so I just assumed that we couldn't afford college and my parents weren't going to pay for it. So I wasn't going to go. So I worked labor jobs in Stephenville after I graduated for about a year after high school, until I realized, this ain't working for me. I'm not going to keep doing this for the rest of my life. I have to do something differently. And how do I get money for college? Well, I do what most country boys do, and I joined the military. And so, I got in. This was 1999. I thought, hey, the world's at peace, and with the last Gulf War ended in 8 days, so nobody's going to mess with us anymore. And so I joined the military. And then 2 years later, September 11th happens, and the next thing I know, I'm deployed to Iraq. And now I'm a sergeant in the infantry. So of course we were in the middle of it. And I ran gun trucks, quick reaction force, combat patrols, base camp security. And this was 2004, 2005, not in the best time to be in Iraq, in Baghdad. And I spent an entire 12 months there. Now I made it through that. It was an extremely challenging time, but glad I made it through that. I came home, wanted to just stay healthy, stay exercising, got into CrossFit because I'd always been in shape, right? I played high school football. They always kept me in shape. The military kept me in shape. So this was the best way for me to get my mind off of what I'd been through, to get back into exercise, got into CrossFit. And it was great. I always, like I said, thought I was a healthy guy, but I came home from Iraq with the digestive disease that really messed with me for about 8 years on and off. But in 2013, I lost 50 pounds in a single month, and I became bedridden. I became disabled, and it nearly killed me for 3 months. This was the most excruciating time in my life. I went to 4 different GI doctors, and they threw the kitchen sink at me: antibiotics, steroids, IVs, hospital stays. They threw the book at me, and I just would not get better. And every single day was such a struggle that I didn't think I was going to make it to the next day, because my body was so broken and all my different organs were failing at different times. And I couldn't hold in any food or water. And that's why I'd lost so much weight. And I almost gave up. But it's really by God's grace that I found a natural doctor. And the natural doctor was the one that said, "Hey, let's just change your diet and put you on some vitamins and see if that works." And I was like, "That's it?" Because the other doctors told me that diet doesn't matter. And he said, "No, diet absolutely matters. Let's change it up, put you on some vitamins and see if we can help you out." And that's what happened. I started to get better, and it took me a full year to recover, but I was able to come back from that without any medication or surgery. And I actually documented that whole experience. I wrote a book on this over COVID. But anyways, that was my COVID project. But yeah, I came back from that 100% natural, without any surgery or medication. And that was the great thing. So the reason I share this with people is because I just want them to know that my life is a lot like probably like their life. It's been full of ups and downs. K through 12, kindergarten through 12th grade was pretty good. Growing up in a small country town, we had a lot of fun, a lot of good friends, and just enjoyed life. And got into the military. I thought everything was going to be smooth sailing, but then I got deployed to Iraq, and that was, a mental setback, because we lost friends over there. We lost team members. And the thing is, in Iraq, you don't get days off. You don't get time to mourn. The mission has to go on. The mission has to be completed. And so that was something that I had to deal with, and we just had to move forward. I got out of Iraq, got into a pharmaceutical career, did very well in that until, 2013 happened. And then I became disabled, and I lost all that weight. I had to go on medical leave. And after 90 days, the job wanted me back, and I couldn't come back because I wasn't physically able. And so that's whenever I learned I couldn't have a job anymore. And so that's whenever I started my financial services business. And I did that, and I got contracts with all of Dallas ISD. I was helping teachers with their retirement planning. It was really lucrative. Every year was better than the last year. 2019 was my best year ever. 2020 was my best quarter ever than the first quarter. And then what happened? All the schools shut down, and everybody started pulling money from their accounts. Everybody was scared, 30 million layoffs. And I sat there and I was like, my business went to zero overnight. And of course, I've known Michael Reese for 20 years, and I started to see their success really compound with EXP. And he always wanted me to be a real estate agent, although I never wanted to be a real estate agent, because I didn't want to do traditional real estate agent stuff like cold call and door knock and call FSBOs and expireds and all that other stuff. But I sat there and watched real estate start to grow over 2020 as well, in addition to seeing Michael and Jay's success. And so then I was like, darn it, I'm going to have to make the move and become an agent. But I was scared to death because I was 41 years old, and I thought I was starting over. And I thought, how do I do this? Because I didn't want to generate business the traditional ways. And I didn't want to be that person to have to go out and shake hands and kiss babies. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And I know there's a lot of agents that have been successful doing that, but it just wasn't something I wanted to do at 41 years old. And I did want to age and attract, but I also felt like I didn't have any credibility if I hadn't even sold a home. It's like, I know some people have done that, but for me, I needed to sell a home at least to be able to feel like I could properly age and attract. And so I was just patient, and I took time to research and figure out what would work for me. I knew it would be through social media, but I wasn't sure which platform. And so that's why I dug into Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And none of those really set well with my gut. So I just, YouTube was my last choice. But once I dug into YouTube and started to figure out and learn a little bit more about it, then I thought there might be something here. And so, that's whenever I started to research for a couple of months. I really researched the platform to understand the entire platform. And I put together a business plan, because what I understood was, if you treat YouTube like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby. If you treat it like a business, it'll pay you like a business. Same thing probably with agent attraction, right? So it was just one of those things where I built out a business plan for how I was going to win with YouTube through social media with real estate. And whenever we met in Puerto Rico in January 2021, I was still studying at the time, but I had launched the channel, but of course hadn't generated any business at the time. So, from there, you saw the results, what happened. And, that's really what came out of it, is just a tremendous amount of success, something that I wasn't expecting it to be this big. I mean, I felt like I could grow business and do very well with it, but to be able to, break over $1 million in commissions the first year, actually in the first 9 months, or the last 9 months of the year, and already we've done 72% over what we did all of last year in this time frame. Now, there's a lot more to this story that I would unpack, in any type of presentation or something. So I just wanted to share with you the brief overview. And again, the last revenue share check was 13.8, over 300 people in the organization already. And we've been able to use our success from YouTube to help other agents, grow and build their own channels. And that's why people are attracted to us, is because we're helping them understand how to become producing agents, or be better producing agents. And so versus just talking about EXP, actually, I don't even really talk about EXP at all in our agent attraction calls, because most of the time people are just wanting to learn how to do video and how to be successful on YouTube. That's their number one goal. So they're willing to join us at EXP because they're like, okay, EXP is icing on the cake. And so I never really even get into full discussions about how EXP works or anything like that. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of share that with you. Hopefully you found this helpful, and just wanted to share with you that brief information. So, always enjoyed, speaking with you, hanging out with you. And then the events are great. We were at Build last year, as well. And I told myself, actually, I sent Jay Kinder a text message, and I was like, hey, we'll be up there next year, and I wasn't sure how that would happen, and not sure if this will happen this way either, but, just wanted to thank you for the opportunity, and, to listen to our story. Again, this is just a very brief overview of what we could unpack in a presentation. I think we could share a lot more with people, a lot more nuts and bolts of how to do some things, and why YouTube is so important. That's why I think it's, our presentations really resonate with people. So where we've been able to speak, but we actually spoke at EXPCon in 2021, last November. I've spoken at several other events. We're going to be going on Tom Ferry's podcast, and we spoke at Tom Ferry's last event, the Blueprint in Nashville, and made a splash with him. I've been invited into Tom Ferry's private video mastermind group. There's only about 14 people in that. So all that's just more opportunity to be able to agent attract, and that's what I love about going to all those events. So it's been a huge blessing, a huge opportunity. And again, just wanted to thank you for, watching this video. Hopefully it helps it. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Again, Brent, as always, great to see you and great to hear from you, and look forward to possibly working with you there. Thanks.